From the Northway Bank Online Newsroom, I'm Gary McKenzie. This local and regional news update is brought to you by Northway Bank. Want a Northway Bank teller to keep in your pocket? There's an app for that. Now available for iPhone and Android. Download yours today. Northway Bank with 17 locations throughout New Hampshire. The people you know, the bank you trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. The chief of the Conway Fire Department credits one of his firefighters for his quick reaction Tuesday evening after a propane gas grill caught fire. Steve Solomon says shortly after 5:30, a family at 23 Beechwood Drive was using a propane grill to prepare dinner when it caught fire, lighting up the wood deck and an awning.
One of our firefighters actually lives right across the street, ran over with a fire extinguisher, knocked the fire down, and kind of held it at bay until the engine could get there and then extinguish it. It's a propane-fed fire, so there's actually a fairly large fireball for such a small area that's on fire. There's not much you can do about that. You have small propane tanks, you just let them burn out and keep it under control. Because putting that fire out and then just letting the gas free flow, you could actually have a bigger problem.
The chief says firefighter Bill Barbin's quick action prevented the fire from burning up the house. The fire did melt part of the awning and damage the deck and its railing, but no one was hurt. Solomon says there's no 100% way to avoid such a fire, but frequent grill cleaning can help.
Most of those, it's a combination of fat or grease dripping down. When you add the fact that it's 95 degrees out, the stuff stays a little more liquid. It gets down underneath the drip pan on the grill. Then you've got it involved in the burners and the hose to the gas tank and things like that. And that's the most common way those things catch fire.
He recommends keeping any gas grill at least 10 to 15 feet away from your house and not leaving it unattended, as well as having several fire extinguishers handy. Firefighters were at the scene for about a half hour. The National Weather Service has designated this as National Lightning Safety Awareness Week, and the campaign coincides with two recent lightning strikes, one at a Boy Scout camp south of Laconia in Gilmanton that injured nearly 24 scouts, and another on Sebago Lake in Casco, Maine, that sent a 25-year-old Nashua, New Hampshire woman to the hospital. Meteorologist Rebecca Scholand, a weather observer and education specialist at the Mount Washington Observatory, has seen many strikes during her career. She says more than 400 people in the U.S. are hit by lightning every year. Nearly 40 are killed. A number the Weather Service says is half of what it was since it started its public awareness campaign in 2001. Many other people suffer neurological injuries from strikes. Jolin says the most important thing to do when you hear thunder is to go inside, because it means you're close enough to be hit by lightning.
If you can hear the thunder, you're close enough to be struck by it. And you always want to make sure that you stay inside for at least 30 minutes after you hear that last strike. When you're stuck outside, which is a huge thing here on the summit of Mount Washington because we're above tree line in the mountains, it's not always easy to get right inside. You want to try to get off of those elevated peaks as fast as possible. Get down below tree line as fast as you can. You never want to lie flat on the ground. You don't want to go near shelter for an isolated tree or under a rocky cliff or anything like that. And you just want to stay away from general objects that could conduct electricity.
She recommends preparing before you go out, including listening to the weather forecast and making a backup plan. Jolin cites National Weather Service statistics that more than 80% of lightning strike fatalities are male, typically between the ages of 15 and 40. And she says the air through which lightning passes can heat up to 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than the surface of the sun. She says it's the rapid heating and cooling of the air that causes the sound of thunder. The bottom line is it's dangerous to do any activity outside during a thunderstorm. To learn more about lightning and safety tips, see the observatory's website at mountwashington.org. In Maine news, Governor Paul LePage says he's not running for Congress. The Republican governor told reporters yesterday he won't run for the 2nd Congressional District seat, now held by Democratic U.S. Representative Mike Michaud. The governor's comments came after the Democratic-controlled legislature voted to override his veto of the state budget. Last week, LePage said he was considering a congressional bid instead of running for a second term as Maine's governor. He said yesterday he'll meet with his family soon to discuss whether he'll run for re-election for governor. He's already started raising money for that campaign. In sports, the New Hampshire Fisher Cats took 2 games from the Reading Fightin' Phils yesterday in Manchester, winning the first game 7-1 and the second 7-4. The Cats welcome the Portland Sea Dogs tonight for the start of a weekend series. The Dogs and the Binghamton Mets were rained out yesterday in Portland. They'll try to make up the 2 games next month. The Red Sox beat the Colorado Rockies 5-3 yesterday for a sweep of that two-game series. John Lackey struck out a season-high dozen over 7 strong innings, and Daniel Nava drove in 2 runs. Shane Victorino had 3 hits, and Dustin Pedroia added 2 for the Sox. And Patrice Bergeron, the Boston Bruin, has a punctured lung and is at a Boston area hospital for observation. In the weather today, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the lower 70s with light winds. Showers likely tonight with a chance of thunderstorms in the evening. Then showers with a chance of thunderstorms after midnight. Patchy fog through the period with locally heavy rainfall possible after midnight. Lows of the lower 60s, light winds, a flood watch in effect from late tonight through Friday evening. And a chance of thunderstorms Friday, showers and patchy fog. Locally heavy rainfall possible in the morning, highs in the upper 60s. From the Northway Bank Online Newsroom, I'm Pierre McKenzie.